Hello, Space Pirates. Today I'm going to talk you through my latest game of Infinity. This time I'm playing Corregidor against Vanilla PanO. The mission is Armoury. And this game turned out to have a bunch of very interesting interactions. So I considered it worthwhile for a battle report. So my opponent did. No, I did win the initiative roll, and I decided to go on the blue side because I hoped for my opponent to pick the first turn, and second turn in Armory is usually stronger, and my list is better tailored for clearing the room than holding the room. Therefore, I decided to pick deployment. I especially picked the blue side because I had this spot in mind for the Vostok, which gives her only short range arrows, so she's fine with her MK12, and she has a line of sight into the room, and from there also I have a better opportunity to climb up that building, and I have a lot of climbing plus units. And the deployment zone generally feels better for me for arrow duty. Therefore, I decided to pick the blue side. My opponent was considering to go on a second turn, but in the end he decided to go first, and he also deployed first. He did deploy everything but the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre, which he did hold back. He places a Teutonic Knight with a Spec Ops in the center, going for the doors, an Defersen, Killer Hacker, Joan of Arc. This is a, what is it? Helot, the classic Helot. Light rocket launcher, mimetism 0. He also brings 2 regulars with their mines, which is good for defense. An Evo hacker to give them a buff for the heavy infantry. He places a Tech Bee up here to repair something. It's hard to see her in the back. We agreed that we play these containers, these things, as cubes, so deployment on top of them is totally fine. So we have the Tech Bee here to repair stuff. The Moonstrucker, both irregular orders are created as regulars with Joan of Arc. The TR bot has a good line of sight around here, good range, always probably in cover, also looking into the room, which is nice. The Flash Pulse on this side is also looking into the room and has some fire lanes. And MIM -3 marker over there, which is deployed a little bit forward. We have an exclusion zone, so this is the furthest spot where this unit can deploy. He decided to place the HVT right in front of the door. We were discussing or checking the rules. It's not blocking line of sight, but nevertheless it blocks the entrance through this door, because if I want to go in there, I will have to synchronize first and then get him away, and then I can go inside. So it's an okay placement, I think. It makes secure the HVT a lot easier, but it still blocks my path over there. But this won't be my main path anyways. So I'm deploying second. I don't see any strong guns. I will, as usual, the Joan of Arc, Teuton, and Defersen will run into the room, and that will be the objectives I need to clear out. So I place my Vostok over here with the line of sight, line of fire into the room. As soon as the doors do open, I will have a line of sight. And I can tuck the Diablo and the Jaguar with them in cover, protecting the Vostok, so this Harris is a good place for them. I placed the Alguacil, my lieutenant, up here. The second one, the decoy, is down there. I think he's pretty safe up there. The doors need to be opened with a short skill, so it takes a lot of orders to get to him if you don't have climbing plus, and I don't see a Kahu. So I'm feeling pretty safe up here, and there's also an open field over there. So maybe in the last turn or in the later game, if I need the order, I can stand up and shoot something and try to be order efficient here. We'll see. I place my Moran with a repeater up here. He's hard to get to. He's stopping anything coming from this flank and from this flank. With this repeater, and has this crazy koala, so I'm a little bit afraid of this flank being an attack vector. This is why I placed my HVT here. It blocks the path as well, and so my opponent can't run here and get fire lanes from the side against me. So this flank is saved. I place my intruder down here. He has a very tiny fire lane to the door. It's hard to zoom in, but he has a line of fire down here, slightly below this, beside this, and he can see a tiny bit. If the opponent crawls into the room, I can't see him, but as soon as he walks in from this door, he will get a line of sight. And he's far back with mimetism and cover. I think a discover, I'm not too afraid of that. So I'm feeling happy with him being on arrow duty here. And he also has this open area, which is good for his HMG to shoot stuff from here. So I'm pretty happy with this placement. I also placed my turret down here, also providing cover to the Vostok over here, and having a line of sight or arrow down here and over there. So he's covering a decent amount of the board and also looking into the room. So this might be handy if anything is moving within. I did hold back my Raven Eye with his EM mines to defend against his offensive arrow or offensive units. I then placed the Transductor down here, who has some fire lanes down there, and also provides repeater coverage in this area, but I will have to stand up something in case my opponent tries to alpha strike me. So he's in cover, he's in probably good range over there, has mimetism, so should be fine, and he's only group 2, so it's kind of disposable. My second Harris, or in this time a 3-man calling, is placed here. Jazz in the center, far back to be safe of any pitchers. The Senor is standing in the front with his boarding shotgun covering short lanes, and the Vader is standing on arrow duty. I hope to survive something, and yeah, should be looking in that direction, and then he can afterwards move into the direction of the room. I'm trying the Moran with the camouflage because various missions need specialists, and I'm trying out a specialist in camouflage. He's lying down there, providing a crazy koala as well, and I have a lot of repeaters anyways already. I have the one Moran on the right flank. I have the Vostok, which is a repeater, I have the Transductor, and I have the Stempler Zond, which are all repeaters, so basically my whole deployment zone is already covered with repeaters. And I have the Stempler Zond here, which has climbing plus, so can maybe climb up there and try to shoot something or lay down repeater coverage, whatever. So, as mentioned, I did hold back my Raven Eye. My opponent then placed the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre, which is his hunting unit, and I decide to place the Raven Eye down there, prone, with his EM mine to secure this flank. The Raven Eye, since he's prone, only has very short ranges. My opponent isn't really able to see him from here because there's always either this container or the ship in the way, and therefore he's safe and he can defend with his flash pulls. And the EM mine is always a problem if you get to the deployment zone and have to dodge. There's one unit missing. I usually have the Tomcat as an engineer, as a parachutist, to maybe heal the Vostok or do some other stuff. So for me it's only 14 units on the board. So let's see how the first round turns out. Okay, during the first turn, I spend a command token to steal my opponent 2 orders from Group 1. He does use his mulebot to put fairy fire on the heavy infantry units to defend against my hacking. That's Group 2. And Group 1 starts moving out with the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre, but first he moves forward with the Teuton Knight, who moves forward, stays at the edge of the door, opens the door since this is Spec Ops, moves inside. Not sure if he tries to grab something from the panoply, but he moves there into cover. Then the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre moves forward and gains line of sight to my evader. I did miss that fire lane down here through the airship. That was sad. Otherwise, I wouldn't have placed him there because it's bad range for me. I decide to dodge, but I fail my dodges and go straight to death. That's sad. After that, he pops my Crazy Koala and the EM mine with his decoy. Since he's moving the decoy far up, obviously exposing them to the mines, I decide to place a new mine with the Raven Eye because he gets to see them and can arrow. To keep my defense, so both explode, both decoys, or one decoy, and then he retreats back, placing the 2 new decoys down there in the end of his turn. He also moves the Defersen into the room for defense purposes. Yeah, and that's basically his first turn. He's trying to score the room. Didn't do a lot of damage due to lack of orders and not being able to move the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre into a good range band and gaining good shots. So there wasn't much damage he could do with them. So let's see my first turn. Okay, for my first turn, my goal is obvious. I need to clear the room. I need to clear the Teuton and the Defersen. My plan is here to use the Harris. That's my first turn Harris. The Vostok can shoot. Diablo and Jaguar can both attack and in close range and maybe hold the room. So the plan is to move them over there. Vostok will stay outside, but that's okay. If she can climb up here, she can even get some shots at the Fugazi or the Sierra, so this would be worthwhile as well. And being up here in arrow duty isn't bad either, because I'm providing repeater coverage into the room, and there are not really long or short ranges, too long or too short ranges that could attack her, and she has magnetism -6, so she would be pretty safe up here. To avoid the Halot, I first throw smoke with the Jaguar and then move forward, at which point I think the Teuton gets an arrow dodge and succeeds, and decides to dodge over there to gain line of sight down here. I'm not sure if he was able to see somebody, but he's getting way back and still being in the room. That's the point where I switch to use the intruder, which is in group 1. He's in group 1, he's in his camo state, shows that. So I move him around here, and he declares a dodge, and I reveal and shoot him 4 times. Since he's not getting cover, I'm shooting on 16s. He's dodging on 14s because of my surprise shot. And I take him directly to unconscious, which is a little bit lucky, but not too unexpected, since it's only armor 3 and it's a damage 14 weapon. I think he whiffed his dodge, and I succeed with 3 shots or something like that. I then move the intruder forward, and from here I get another shot from this edge, from there. I get another shot at the Differsen. So I move out and back in again, and I wound him, because Differsen can also only dodge, because he's it's too far away for his Spitfire. So he takes a wound, and then of course fails his guts over there to be in total cover from me. But at least I did him a wound already. So from here I think I moved the Diablo forward first. Both other units stay in the smoke. And the Diablo gets into within 8 inches of the Differsen. And so he thinks about what to do. Use the Spitfire. He saw me out of 8 inches, so he could shoot the Spitfire on 17. Or since I'm within 8, he could try a hack on a 14 and therefore isolate me, and with that I would be useless. I would also shoot my light shotgun at him with an on +6, -3, so on a 14 as well. So he decided to go for the hack. I think that's pretty solid. That's safe. I would have done the same, even though the Spitfire would have had higher values. But the opportunity is better if he isolates me. He can... I can't use the Diablo anymore this turn. So that's would have been worthier for him. So we both shoot at 14. I do that on 3 dice, he on 1 dice. He doesn't succeed. He has to do some armor saves, but saves them, unfortunately, even though I'm shooting with damage 14, because I get +1 damage for BS attack. But cover and armor saves him, and he decides to fail guts again, and again succeeds with his religious. So no wound this time. I then line up all units here because I know the Diablo, or I know which unit was. I know the Diablo was barely within 8 inches before he failed guts around the corner a little bit. So lining up with the Diablo will keep me out of 8 inches. The Vostok is climbing there and staying on that building, and I line them up all over there and then declare dodge with the second short skill. I hope to move the Diablo and the Jaguar forward. I can get into cover, I move forward, and I mainly want the Vostok to move forward, because then I have the Diversion in repeater range again. Unfortunately, only the Vostok succeeds with that. The other two stay up there. From there, I start idling with Jazz. And Jazz King Arthur declares her... no, not King Arthur. It's just the model of King Arthur. It's Diversion declares a Trinity against her. And she's Trinitying her back. So we're both hitting on 14s. And we are both at BTS 6. I get he gets a -3 for my firewall. I get +3 BTS for having a firewall from the Vostok repeater. My opponent has Fairy Dust on him, so -3 for me as well, and he gets 3 BTS as well. So it's both of us on 14 with BTS 9. But it's 3 dice for me. So it's not the best odds, but it's still okay. And I have the numbers here. They tick in on 35% chance of the offensive unit succeeding and 6% chance of the opponent, which is better than I expected. I expected my values to be less, and I expected the opponent's values to be higher. But this is how the numbers turn out. The shootout with the intruder in the first place was better, so it was a good idea to first shoot him and then try to Trinity him, because it's nearly 50% chance of doing 1 wound, and he can't do me any damage in this case. So this was the right call to do that first. But he did succeed with both of his guts rolls or his religious rolls, and therefore it was only 1 try for each unit. Unfortunately, it takes me, I think, 4 orders, and that's the last 4 orders. I did spend some orders to get here, to shoot him. I did spend some orders on the intruder, and that were already 6 orders beforehand. I did spend a command token to fill the spot of the evader again. So unfortunately, I don't succeed here with 4 orders, which is unlucky. So that's a bad position now. My order pool group 1 is empty. My plan was to move the Raven Eye into the room afterwards. Group 2, he's disposable. He doesn't worth a lot. If I have some orders left, I can place EM mines into the room, so there's a lot of benefits in bringing the Raven Eye into the room. I would rather liked to have the Vostok and the Diablo and Jaguar being placed a little bit better as well. But in the end, the main goal was to kill Diversion, and I had to rate that decision higher than protecting these units. And therefore, I had to try with Jazz for the last order. But in the end, I didn't succeed. She's still hanging on the side. Yeah, that's sad. From there, I don't have really good ideas what to do with the room. I can't get Diversion with my group 2. Yeah, not really. So I decide to use the Tomcat and try to at least get rid of the Knight of the Holy Sepulchre, who had 2 other decoys over there. At the beginning he was facing this direction, so all were looking this way, so I could get in here without being seen. He gets, I think even here, so I'm not seen by the mine and I'm not seen by the knight. He gets a dodge, but he fails. I can then move to that edge and declare shoot at him. Since he's still facing his back to me, I can shoot him in the back. Since he did dodge, both other decoys did disappear already, and I have him out of cover. This is why I like to try it with the combi rifle. Since he's declaring a dodge, I'm not using the light flamethrower because I want to try to impose as many armor saves as possible. And with this dodge, he can still succeed. Yeah, but I shoot at him and I succeed. I think 2 times. He fails his dodge, so he has to do an armor save. Fails the first one and gets 1 wound. Now he tries to fail guts to get into cover, but he fails his religious whip roll. So he has to stay there, but at least change the facing to see me now. I then withdraw over there, because I don't have anything else to do in group 2. And he's still out of cover, so it's armor 5, so an 8 he has to beat for an armor save. So I again shoot at him. Since he's out of cover, I'm shooting at 15s, and he's shooting back with the heavy pistol on 14s, so that's pretty good odds for me. And I'm doing, with the second volley, I'm doing a second wound, and he gets unconscious, which is at least a success for me, because I have the Tomcat down here, which should be annoying for my opponent. I didn't succeed with the room, but still distract him probably, and did kill a major attack piece for him. I put the Tomcat into suppression fire because I'm in cover and I'm feeling safe here, and I want to make it as hard as possible for my opponent to dig him out. I don't have any other great plans for him, so why not stay him there and being annoying? So that was the plan. Maybe, considering now, I should have tried to use the transductor to move probably the transductor up here. And dodging into... no, that wouldn't have been a good idea, because Defersen was first looking down here, so I did need the Diablo, and there was also the Teuton in the beginning, so running the transductor in close to the room and just do a hacking game wouldn't have been a success. So, yeah, maybe if I would have had the Stempler available in the center, this would have been a better idea. But this way, I think it was a solid plan. I did succeed with a little bit, but in the end, I'm not too happy with the result. But that's how dice work. So, my opponent starts his turn with Defersen doing the same like me in the round before. He uses my repeater to idle and hack Jazz. I declare a dodge with Vostok because I don't expect him to attack the Vostok with the hacking game, and I want to get the repeater out of the way, which might not be the best play. We'll see later. So he tries to hack Jazz, and he's in the same way unsuccessful. This hacking game is not working at all. So he fails the first hack through the repeater, and Jazz takes his BTS successfully. The Vostok is successfully dodging, so moving out of the zone of control of the Defersen. Defersen then starts to shoot first the Diablo, which tries to dodge but doesn't succeed. Then tries to shoot the Jaguar, tries to drop a smoke grenade, but doesn't succeed. So both are removed from play. And then he moves forward into the zone of control again. And yeah, tries to hack Jazz again. And I think he tries it 4 or 5 times as well, when the unlikely chance of Jazz succeeding kicks in, and Deferson has to do an armor save and fails and dies. Where it is important that I did the first wound with the intruder beforehand, because he's a lot more durable than Jazz. So the numbers are the same. He had the same odds, again 14 against BTS 9, but dice were angry this time, and the more often you have to try something, the more likely it is the 5% chance of the opponent winning the face-to-face kicks in, and this is what happens here. He then moves a little bit forward. He, I think he does a coordinated order, which is where it is nice that Inspiring Leadership changes the training of the unit, not only changes the order. So the Moonstrucker is considered regular in this match as long as Joan of Arc is still in the game. So she uses her Lieutenant order to coordinate with the Moonstrucker and the regular. And the Moonstrucker is the spearhead, which is also nice. Joan doesn't have to be the spearhead for that. The Moonstrucker is moving forward, dropping a drop beer over there. And then the regular is moving out to shoot the engineer. Since I consider him disposable, I don't care about the drop beer. I straight suppress the regular, because I want to drain him in order. This is only group 2, and I won't have a lot of orders in group 2 left anyways, so I don't care about him. So he succeeds with his face-to-face, rolls a higher number, and the regular gets unconscious. That's lucky for me. Even more lucky, I survived the drop beer armor save, so everything is perfectly fine here. I think the Moonstrucker in the end spends a spare order to place another drop beer down here to lock me down here. So placing the Tomcat here to being annoying was good, because it already took him 2 to 3 orders. Perfect. And beside that, I think this regular is moving forward a little bit. And then he reveals his, well, not really reveals, but moves his Crocman forward. This was not a unit. I think they have a unit with it, which is -3, but it was not. It was a Crocman mine layer, who then moves into the room and tries to score the room this time. So yeah, nothing really. Well, he killed a whole bunch of. Oh yes, and he this camo unit also shoots at the Vostok. Vostok declares a dodge, but fails. So the 2 boarding shotguns bring the Vostok to unconscious. That's sad as well. And he then recamos in the room. I think 3 orders he had left. 1 moving over there, 1 moving over there, shooting the Vostok and recamoing. That's very efficient, and a little bit sad that the Vostok goes straight to death, but that's how things work. So he's again scoring the room, and I need to take care of him. Okay, so again, the play is to get the Crocman out of the room. So I'm looking around, and I'm considering moving up here, because I can gain a line of sight to the Krogman from here, considering to move the intruder up here. But I would have to do some face-to-faces with the Halot and the Sierra and that stuff. And then I realize, right where the mine lays, there was, at the beginning, there was still the Teuton. And I realized that, and the intruder has grenades beside his HMG. And that's the second time where the grenades come handy for me with the intruder. And I'm still very happy and impressed by the intruder. I really like him. He's my favorite unit now. I know one day he will disappoint me by getting crit by an opponent, and he will probably go straight to death, but that will happen to one or two times in a row, and then he will perform well again. So the intruder moves over here, moves out. From here he does see the Halot, the Halot reveals and shoots him, but fails against the Mimetism and cover, and the HMG being in good range. And from there, I move 4 inches over there, not using stealth. And my opponent did look at the intruder and realized that he has grenades, so I'm not feeling bad about my play. I'm moving there loud, asking for his for the arrows of this camo token. He says, no, I'm not doing anything. And then I'm throwing a grenade at the Teuton, which is perfect. I'm in good range, and the splash covers the camo token as well. So he is not only revealed, but which would have been already a success for me, revealing him and forcing him on at least a bad dodge or an armor save. This time I get a straight armor save, which is fine. He fails with the Teuton, but succeeds with the Krogman, which is unfortunate for me. But at least I revealed him. I then try to do some speculative fire twice again, which doesn't work for me. That was not good. I then decide to change my strategy and move over there and shoot him with the pistol. Since I have MSV2, I ignore his Mimetism. So it's on a straight 13 for me for 2 dice, which is not too good. And he's shooting on +6, -6 on a 12 because of my Mimetism and cover. And since he wants to hold this room, he's shooting me with the hit mode and not with the template, because otherwise I would probably have killed him with the 2 shots. This way he can at least oppose me with an face-to-face. But he doesn't succeed. My pistols go through, and he goes unconscious. I then still move into the room, grab something from the panoply. I think it was +1 armor. Not too bad, but not too good either. And that's my group 1. Oh yes, I did spend 2 command tokens to fill the group up again with 2 other units. So group 2 is only 2 orders left. The one from the Tomcat and the Transductor. And I moved the Transductor to the edge of the room to bring hacking area into the room. Because I already see the final play will be Joan of Arc moving into the room. She's the most durable unit. That's the play my opponent will have to do in his final turn. So let's have a look how that turns out. Yeah, so as expected, my opponent moves Joan of Arc into the room. Not sure what she killed. Or if she killed something. Not sure. Yeah, oh yes. He first moves the regular on this flank forward. The intruder does gain a line of sight down here and shoots the regular. The regular succeeds with his dodge and therefore is in out of line of sight again. I did miss that. No, I think he moved with it there with his dodge. He then moves forward with the regular and shoots the transductor. Not too good odds for him, but he succeeds, and the transductor goes unconscious level 2. I think this play could easily have gone wrong. It's kind of an YOLO move. Because I think I missed 1 or 2 arrows down here. The HMG shot could have gone through. Dodging on a 10 versus a shot on a 16 is not really good odds. And this face-to-face isn't really good either because he doesn't gain any cover. Maybe he got cover. Not sure. Still, it's on a 13 versus his +3 -6 on a 9. Not really good either, but this is a major play for him because now the room is free of arrow of hacking. He then shovels the Joan of Arc around and kills my intruder, withdraws a little bit and puts her in suppression fire. And she's frenzy now. She's impetuous. Are there any other major plays? Not real. I think the Moonstalker moves up the building to be on arrow duty. The Tech B as well. Everybody's standing up to try to look at me in my final turn. And that will be the play. I need to get Joan of Arc of that room. Yeah, so as mentioned, my final goal is to get Joan of Arc out of the room. Therefore, I first have 2 disposable things I can do. First, there's this regular, which is in the way. He's looking that line of sight. So I use my lieutenant order to stand my lieutenant up and try to shoot the regular, which fails. I get unconscious. Sad. My order pool is still quite full. I have 8 orders left. Since my units always got wiped totally from the board and I could refuel my first group again. I then decide to move the Stemplar out, which is more of a YOLO move, and try to flash pulse or stun the Sierra, because he has a small line of sight down there below the nose of the airship. And since I have to pass here, would be better if I could simply move there. I use his tactical awareness, so it's a disposable order. And I try to flash pulse him. Since I have marksmanship, odds are not too bad, but not too good either, and I go to unconscious because TR-bot shoots me too often and I fail an armor save. Sad. So both disposable orders didn't turn out. I then moved the units forward. My Jazz with the combi rifle, since the FTO profile is a little bit more expensive, but also gets a combi rifle. She shoots the regular from here and succeeds and brings him unconscious. The Senor Massacre places Eclipse Smoke down here and from there my route is free to go over there. Unfortunately, there's not really a way to gain line of sight to Joan of Arc. Excuse me. And and since they're both still in a duo, which is nice, I can move them forward. They spend a lot of orders to get over there. Somewhere over here, Jazz starts to be the leader and declares a hack at Joan of Arc to get her out of suppression fire, but doesn't succeed to immobilize her. I would have liked to immobilize her instead of isolating her, because isolating doesn't gain me anything. If she's immobilized, I can mock her up in CC and get her killed more easily. But I don't succeed due to her high BTS. Again, BTS 9. Hacking -3 for me. All annoying. I realize I can't shoot her with the boarding shotgun, even in AP mode, because she has a nanopulsar and would have templated me just to get rid of Senor Massacre. This way I can't get the room. So I need to spend an order to place smoke down there. I do a mistake by moving Jazz on the right flank, because I feel it's too short here. And if I go over there, I feel too much stuck in the same place, so I want to move her slingshot around that corner. But my opponent again dodges very well in arrow, dodges into the door again, and therefore has line of sight to Jazz, so Jazz is stuck out of the room. Senor Massacre moves inside, I think grabs something from the panoply, which is an HMG, which is useless for me. Joan of Arc dodges again into CC. And there Senor Massacre finally CCs her. Which is a epic CC. Due to Natural Born Warrior and Martial Arts, it's a 27 for me on a 20 for Joan, which is outstanding for me. Which again makes me realize how good Senor Massacre is and how much value I get out of him in these objective room missions, beside the Eclipse Smoke, which is useful anyways. So I think I have one try to CC Joan of Arc, but I don't actually succeed. And she has 3 wounds, so there wouldn't... there might have been a way with the... If I crit and she fails all her armor saves, even though she is BTS 6, I could have killed her, but that's very unlikely. And that's the way it turns out. To my defense, when Senor Massacre and Jazz were still around here, when I decided, do I shoot Jazz or do I shoot Joan, or do I have to CC her, I do consider ignoring Joan of Arc at all. I calculate the points of Senor Massacre and Jazz, which is 48. But I consider Joan of Arc being more expensive. That's probably due to me knowing that the Spitfire version is 50 points. And I then decide that I won't outscore her with Senor and Jazz. Unfortunately, when I describe that to my opponent, he gets quiet, because she's only 45 points. And the play for me to win would have been to simply shove Senor and Jazz into the room. I think I did need to get something from the Panoplies, because, or probably not even, I think my opponent got something from the Panoplies as well. I got 2 things. So this would have been the play for me to win. Simply put them both into the room. But I miscalculated that. That was a mistake on my side. And so I was sure I had to kill her, and there was no way I could have killed her this turn. Yeah. So during this play, in the final thing, I did discuss with my opponent. Discuss, not arguing. If the information what a Joan of Arc in general is worth is if that is public or private information. And please let me note what you think. I would consider the point cost of this special unit is private information, because there are several units. For me, the Alguacil is 10 points, and this Alguacil is 10 points, and one WS SWC, and this one is only 10 points. So knowing the exact points of this unit gives the opponent an advantage. But the general information that an Alguacil with a combi rifle is 10 points, and one of them can be a lieutenant with one SWC. I think this is not private information. So let me know what you think about that. Would be interesting. No matter, I didn't ask my opponent what a Joan of Arc is worth. So it was not relevant. And it was a close game. In the end, it was, I think, 6 points for my opponent and 5 for me, which is already in the closer points, tournament points. Yeah. Oh, I think before I moved there, I had to get rid of the Fugazi, and my engineer, my Tomcat, had to sacrifice him. He did move over here to shoot the Fugazi and eat the drop beer and the mine, which was the third disposable order. Since it was the last order in Group 2, there's nothing else I could do with him. So I had 3 disposable orders, which I had to spend and try to do something good with them. Yeah, I think Armoury... I didn't play Armoury a lot recently. I think it's a really fun mission in the end. I think I will like it more often. It simply provides a little bit or some different interactions in the room, a lot of proper dodging. My opponent did some proper dodge moves. So, yeah, it's really interesting. Oh yes, in the end I do score the HVT, because I'm in zone of control of the HVT. My opponent is not in zone of control of mine. So placing a unit close to the objective room, especially if I go second, allows me to pretty easily score this classified. My opponent did succeed with this classified. He did engineer something at some point. My classified wasn't doable, I think. So that was the game. Please leave me a comment or a thumbs up. I'm happy for that. And if you have any annotations or comments, please let me know. See you.